What's up, dudes? My name is Nick. Welcome back for another song review. After listening to the song Likey by TWICE yesterday, and it being one of the handful of songs that I actually really enjoyed the first time that I listened to it, I figured, we'll listen to it some more and get a little bit of a better idea of what I like about the song and what I do not, to make a review video. And that is what we're going to do. This is a song review video essentially. So let's get into it. First off, by addressing the fact that everyone has focused on the fact that I said that the song is boring in comparison to their other music. And I'm using that in the sense that, like, if you were to put up two different dishes of food, like say hamburgers, and one is super flavorful and really good, but another is not necessarily the most flavorful but still good, you might say, if you're going to compare the two, that the one that is not as flavorful is bland and boring. And I'm not using it in a bad way necessarily, but apparently boring equals bad, which I don't understand that specifically, because I did clarify and explain what I meant, but we'll clarify and explain what I meant in video format again, which, it is the way that it is. Maybe I'll have to use less complex adjectives or something like that, less descriptive words. I don't know. We'll just use good, bad, I liked it, I didn't like it, stuff like that, because I can't win apparently. But so my whole my whole thing with that statement, and it is actually true with this song, is that it is not as energetic and impactful in the same way that Cheer Up or TT or their debut song Ooh Ah Like, or all of those sorts of songs. Very much stuff that is just absolutely jam-packed and like just charged with energy, whereas Likey is not as energy filled. And that's not a bad thing. It really isn't. It is actually one of the things that I actually do enjoy about this song. And I do think that the lack of energy in this song in comparison to the previous music is actually something that has kind of contributed to a little bit more, nuance and some more things to pick out of this song that were not necessarily present in their previous songs, which were mostly focused on just being powerful and energetic and hitting as hard as they possibly could, and just being something that is super loud and attention grabbing, right? Where this song is not necessarily so much focused on being something that's going to just reach out and grab you and grab you by the scruff of your neck like a cat and make you look and focus, right? That's not what the point of this song is. So the things that I really actually enjoy about the song, and what makes it boring or less energetic, is that because they've dialed back the energy, then it actually does make an ability, or give them the ability with their vocals as well as the composition of the music to add a little bit more nuance and feeling to this song. And something that this song has to a certain extent, but a little bit, but maybe not necessarily in the same amount that their previous songs do, is it does actually have musically a little bit more nuance. So I still think that this song, as far as the changes in energy levels between like the verse and the chorus and other stuff like that, is a little bit flat to a certain extent, which again, it isn't a bad thing, but where you actually get the biggest difference is between the different rap portions of this song to the verse that follows, or the chorus. But the differences aren't anything that is like super major big, when there was to a little bit in certain portions of their other songs. There was actually a really big difference between a portion of their song compared to the chorus or another part of the verse. So the change of energy levels and tempo between portions of like TT or Cheer Up are much more dramatic, in my opinion, than there are in this song. But then again, sometimes the being dramatic and noticeable and eye-catching is not necessarily a good thing or a bad thing, right? Just the same way as having something that is having those changes that are much more subtle and having a feel of a song that is much more flat. That's not a good thing or a bad thing either. It just is a thing, and either you appreciate it or you don't. I personally kind of do appreciate the little bit of nuance in this song in that regard. The other element that I think was definitely much more improved with this in comparison to some of their other songs, of course, at least to my ears, is something that I kind of discussed with somebody in the comments of my reaction video, where people had actually been commenting that they improved in their singing, and I kind of replied with, I don't know necessarily if if they exactly have gotten better at singing, because I don't think that that's going to be like, signal they're bad singers, and then with Likey they're good, or with TT they're bad singers, and then with Likey they're good, because the time difference between those two is a lot different. What I think the difference is in those songs is, what the difference is between all of those songs is that this song, similar to like I just said previously, gives them, because of the toned down energy, gives them a little bit more opportunity to add some more, nuance and, details to the vocals that they're singing. Not also to mention too that Likey has a lack, in my ears, a distinct lack of harmonizing vocals. So you don't have multiple members singing at the same time as frequently as you do in other Twice songs. Like, a lot of the choruses for previous Twice songs are very much based and founded on layering multiple members' vocals on top of each other to kind of create a big and deep sound. Whereas with this song, you don't have that to a certain extent, and that in and of itself means that the individual member has to like actually focus more on their vocal ability and putting all of their skill into it, instead of previous songs where it's just focusing on putting out pure power and energy through their vocals. So it's a when you kind of go for vocals that are super powerful, you can't quite get a little bit of the nuance and the and the changes and details and stuff like that you can get in notes when you're trying to go for something that's maybe not necessarily the highest note or the most powerful note behind it, so you get a little bit more vocal control when you're not trying to just like push as much wind, air through past your windpipes or whatever as you can possibly, like they were to a certain extent trying to do with a lot of their previous music. To this extent, kind of controlling and keeping everything a little bit more controlled than they were previously means that the songs can be a little bit more more detailed, and the vocals can just come out to a certain extent in a, I don't want to say like a nicer tone, but they just come out in a way that is nicer, and means that they don't necessarily need to layer and harmonize as much as they have in previous songs. So that's something that I really enjoy about it as well. And the final thing that I really enjoy is also, in comparison to like every other one of their songs that they've put out, the rap portions and the rap verses in this song are by far my favorite that in any Twice song that I have ever heard. And it's a little bit of a different sort of change in style and cadence for them, I think, but it is, I don't know necessarily if it's really like a huge massive change, but it is something that kind of whatever it was, whether it was the combination of the vocal of the rap lines with the music that they kind of injected and interrupted the song with, to kind of make that part stand out and interesting, where they might not have really done that in some of their previous songs. Maybe that is what made it stand out and made it something that I'm remembering and enjoying a lot more than previous. But whatever it is whatever the case is, whatever it is that actually happened with that, it is something that I actually really enjoy. So at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, despite the fact that the song is not as entertaining to a certain extent as like Cheer Up or TT or Ooh Ah Like, or whatever name another song from Twice that they released previously. Maybe the song's not the most entertaining song when you just listening to it, but when you actually like get down into it and focus on it, there is actually a pretty decent amount of things that you can pick out of this that are actually really good, that of course you won't necessarily pick up when you're passively listening to the song, whereas you would actually get it and pick this stuff up when you actively listen to the song. So I suppose it's kind of the difference between some of the previous songs from Twice and this song, is that previous songs for Twice were, I think, much more constructed to be listened to passively, where people were just gonna like be sitting around or walking down the street past a storefront or on the radio or something like that. So they're not songs necessarily that are meant to be necessarily the most deep and nuanced, and there's all kinds of details and stuff like that in the song, whereas this one is, even though it is like 100% they didn't change anything about the Twice sound and style of music, they just toned it down. And so then that kind of adds a little bit more of those, you know, makes those fine details easier to kind of add in a sense, and also of course easier to pick up, because there's not so much to, like, you know, pick through and dig through, that much of stuff that's essentially noise and a distraction from the actual, like, tiny details. So that's what I like about this song. I didn't say it was boring because I didn't like it. I said it was boring because it was an adjective as a comparison. I can't get over this. I'm sorry. But now that I've got my review video and I got to, you know, vent and all that stuff on camera, I'm over it now. So hopefully you guys kind of enjoyed this. Hopefully this cleared some stuff up, although I'm 100% certain that the people that didn't like what I had to say are not going to watch this video. But that's going to be that. So tell me what you guys thought about this song. You know, you've had some more time to listen to it, so if you got anything further to add, some more, you know, specific details and things that you want to discuss with me, ask me about, like, did I hear something that you heard, or whatever it is, you know, you want to get a little bit into some detailed discussion about this song, or you just want to talk about Twice and the album and stuff like that in general, then that's cool too. So drop your thoughts and stuff like that down in the comment box below. Share whatever it is that you think, whether it's you know, a positive thing or a bad thing or a negative thing. It doesn't matter. I don't care. You know, because we're trying to build a community that is all about having some free and open discussion about our thoughts and opinions, no matter if we agree or disagree. So if that's a community that you want to become a part of, and that's an environment that you think is cool, then please do consider clicking on the subscribe button down below. So with all that being said, that's going to be it for this video. As always, I want to thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time.